Death Club.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Danny here today. I'm talking to you about the Hunters Guild Red Hood. So Hunters Guild Red Hood is written and drawn by Yuki Kawaguchi, and this was published in Weekly Shonen Jump, and sadly it ran from June of 2021 and ended November 2021 with a total of 18 chapters. That's right, it's another manga from Jump that got canceled way too early, in my opinion. So alright, let's go ahead and get into this, man. This stars our main character, Vilu, and he lives in a village in the middle of a forest, and they are plagued with werewolves coming to invade and attacking, taking villagers out here and there. And early on, we can tell that this is sort of a grim fairy tale-esque setting based off the art style and what we see when they're explaining the lore of the world. And already I was like, oh, I'm signing up, man. We don't really get to see a whole lot of this. So finally, the village decided to pull all their money together and hire a hunter from the Hunters Guild to take care of the werewolf that's invading the village. And a little child shows up, and her name is Grim, and she wears a red hood. She starts explaining to Vilu the habits of werewolves and how everything goes usually. So they go out to the forest to bait the werewolf to come out of hiding that's in the village, because werewolves can transform into humans. They find the werewolf. He already killed the mayor and a few other people, and now it's time for some action, and Grim turns into an adult, surprisingly. And then boom, we get to see the design of the werewolf, which right off the bat I was like, oh, I'm in. It's a very unique design that you just don't see. And so while Grim is fighting this werewolf, she asks Vilu, how long are you going to keep crying and sulking for? What are you going to do about it? And with the axe from the mayor that he found, he decides, no, I'm going to protect this village with all my strength, and easily slices this werewolf in half. And she asks him, hey, why don't you come with me and I'll train you to be a hunter, so that way you can fight off the other werewolves as well as protect your village. He's hesitant at first because he doesn't want to leave, but eventually he decides, you know what, yeah, let's go and train. And after fighting other werewolves that showed up, they take their leave and go on this adventure of him becoming a hunter. And that is the start of this series. I liked it. It was unique. The designs were fantastic. The art style is its best selling point because it's so distinct from anything else you see in Jump. Like I said, the designs of the werewolves are very unique, and we get to see some of the weapons that the hunters use. And those things were really cool too. There was like a shotgun Grim was using, and it had a muzzle that was a snout that looked like a snout from a dog, and they would use that to detect werewolves. Really cool stuff like that. So I had an idea of what the world was going to be offering us in presentation, and then when they traveled outside of the village, and then we just see like, oh no, this is full on fantasy. Like we see giants roaming around, they're riding this giant crab. There is so much more stuff that I wasn't expecting. That was really cool. But unfortunately, the manga took a wrong direction. So this is Kawaguchi's first manga. Everything else prior to this has been one-shots. So I get it. You know, there's some slip-ups here and there on how to tackle this. And apparently, the editor that this mangaka had is notorious for being an editor for series that always get canceled. As I said, it took a wrong turn, and that is because one of the first major arcs that we get is a training arc. And it's very unfortunate because we go to an area that literally isolates our characters from this world that we were just shown. So we're just stuck with Vilu being introduced to new characters in this isolated area of the world as they train to get their hunter licenses. And there's nothing wrong with it necessarily. But to do this right off the bat and not really push hard on how unique your manga is going to be was definitely the thing that hurt this series the most. Kept hitting bottom rank of Jump week after week after week. And I think if they just went on an adventure a little bit more and gave us a look at, there's other threats out there besides werewolves that the hunters may have to handle, and then we could have gotten more chances of seeing unique weapons and all these other things. And of course, there was a big setup early on, right when they left the village, where we see a giant werewolf and Cinderella teaming up. and their villains in this series. So we had a lot of interesting stuff kick in very early on, only to be halted for this training arc that unfortunately lasted too long for the manga's life, to the point where it got axed, and that sucks. We did get to the final part, which it flows pretty decently with how it ends. It almost feels like this was the plan from the beginning. The training arc was at a slower pace than I would have liked, and then as soon as we got to this final section, it picked up the speed. So that kind of sucks. You could tell that they had to rush the ending for this, as it ended very early. I like the idea. I heard from a friend that is a very similar plot to Undead Unluck that's also in Shonen Jump. I do plan on reading that, but since I have no context, I thought this by itself was good. Very interesting, and then we get to find out what Velu's purpose is in this manga, as well as some other stuff leading up to him being in the village and meeting Grimm, and there's all this stuff connecting to get to this point in the series at the end. And the final chapter was alright. I would have preferred maybe a little epilogue in the last 2 pages just to see more of the world. And all I could say is I hope that Kawaguchi learns from this, and looking forward to his next series, because I think this manga has some good potential. I do want to see more of this unique art style for sure. And if we could get more uniqueness in the world that the next manga is going to present, and then just hopefully get better world building, it's going to be a good time. It's a shame to see this manga go. At the same time, it's kind of understandable. It's hard right now to be in the top for Weekly Shonen Jump because there's so many great mangas. If you slip up too many times, that's going to be the end of your series. So again, it really sucks to see this go, and I just look forward to whatever Kawaguchi's going to do next. And with that, that's really all I have to say today, guys. I definitely recommend still checking it out. Just have a fun time with it. It's only 18 chapters, so you'll breeze right through it. And I would love to know your thoughts. What did you think of Hunter's Guild Red Hood? Did it deserve to be canceled, or should it kept going enough to just really spread its wings out? Would love to hear those thoughts, and you can send those emails to unversepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll bring those up on future episodes. And then you can follow us at Unverse Podcast anywhere you go, and we'll let you know when those episodes drop. So thank you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.